If you're a human being on this earth, you've probably been told some questionable, sketchy, or just bad nutrition advice in your lifetime. Well, today we're going to talk about 5 signs that someone is spewing some bad nutrition information, aka nutrition misinformation. If you're new to the channel, hello and welcome. My name is Katie. I'm a registered dietitian and certified personal trainer. And here on the channel, we debunk diet myths, and I also share some tips and strategies on how to have a healthier relationship with both food and fitness. So if that interests you, then definitely hit the subscribe button below and join our community. Now let's get into today's topic, how to spot bad nutrition advice. And trust me, there are some good telltale signs that you'll really want to know. Now, the first sign someone is giving out bad nutrition advice is that they have these very persuasive, confident, and very strong one-sided opinions on nutrition, but they have no actual nutrition background, meaning no degree. They maybe have like a couple weeks certification, but they don't really have a background in nutritional science, because nutrition is a science, it's not just an opinion. Now, there are educated people that can give bad nutrition advice too, but I want to speak on behalf of most of the ethical providers out there. Most doctors, most dietitians, most people with a educational background in medical science and in nutrition science are going to give ethical advice. But if someone has that grandiose confidence and they don't have anything to objectively back it, like an educational background, then I would assume the worst before putting your trust in them. If you want to learn more about the differences between a registered dietitian, a health coach, a nutritionist, all of that jazz, because I know there's a lot of words out there to describe someone who is a nutrition professional. I have a full-length video on that, so I'll leave that for you below if you want to watch the full video that goes really into depth. But essentially, an overview of a registered dietitian is someone who goes to school for 4 to 6 years and gets a credentialing that is a national credentialing to become an RD. They can also be licensed by the state if they're in a state that requires licensure. But the RD actually means that they went through schooling, went through college, at least a bachelor's, it's going to be a master's soon, and they also passed a board exam to be certified to give medical nutrition therapy. So if you have any question on who to go to, I highly recommend starting with a dietitian. Now, health coaches and people who are a certified nutrition coach or whatever the heck is out there nowadays, typically that means they have a couple month-long certification and they don't have the ability or the scope of practice to give actual nutrition advice, meaning medical nutrition therapy. So there are very heavy limitations to what they can offer you. Now, if someone is offering you medical nutrition therapy, for example, like giving a diabetic advice on how to manage blood sugars, or giving someone with heart disease advice on how to lower blood pressure, that is technically illegal and is technically out of their scope of practice. So I would definitely report them. And if I can find a link to how to report people that do this, I will leave it below, but definitely unethical and also very harmful to the public in general. Now, the second sign that someone is giving bad nutrition advice is that they use fear-mongering language to help persuade you to either take a certain supplement or eat a certain way, like go on a specific diet. Oftentimes people that have these very strong beliefs about nutrition, like just throwing keto under the bus here, someone who has a very strong opinion on nutrition like this and feels like they have to hawk it out like they are passing around a religion or trying to convert people to a religion, need to validate themselves by convincing other people to do that diet. I've seen it way too often. Nutrition should not be this thing where we have to convert people to a certain way of eating. It should be pretty neutral, and helping people get healthy habits is amazing. That's what I do as a dietitian, but I'm not here to sell a certain way of eating or to judge people for eating a certain way either. Fear is actually a really bad motivator of long-term change. It can do very short-term things, like if you were fearful of gaining weight, you might go on a diet very short-term, but long-term, you're not gonna stick to something just based on someone convincing you via fear. Fear is a terrible motivator of change, and it can actually cause more distress with food and more issues with food, like binge eating, hiding food, purging after eating, or other disordered eating habits that really range on a scale from very low-key to very high-key or dangerous. So it's important to be mindful of that it can really range from just a little bit disordered to full-blown eating disorder because of someone fear-mongering you or convincing you of a certain way of eating is the only way. And if you go outside of that box, you're a terrible human being, which by the way is totally not true. You're an amazing human being. Sign number 3 that someone is giving out bad nutrition advice is that they convince you that cutting out a certain food or food category is the magic pill. Now, usually this is a way to sell a product like a juice cleanse or a detox or a pill, but not always. The truth is that not one food or product is the end-all be-all and the magic pill to transform our lives or to, create world peace. Like, there's nothing out there that's gonna take you from the way you are now to looking like Jennifer Aniston or Brad Pitt. Not that we all need to look like celebrities, but you get what I'm saying. There's no one pill that's gonna transform us into a celebrity look-alike overnight. If there was a pill out there, I guarantee it would be like the next big invention. It would be like Elon Musk status big, and it's not out there. The truth is there's not one food or one specific product that's gonna absolutely change the way we look, the way we feel, the way we act, any of those things. And that's probably a good thing. I feel like it would be some weird dystopian society, like some science fiction novel, if we all could take a pill to like look exactly the same and look beautiful in the same way or handsome in the same way. I feel like that would almost take away from the humanness of beauty. Not to get like super deep on you guys. Anyway, there's no one magic pill that's gonna solve everything. It's really just a matter of behavior change and making positive changes that really impact your life in the way that you want them to. What is meaningful to you may not be meaningful to someone else in terms of how you shape your health or how active you are, how fit you are, what types of foods you eat, what you do in your life. Maybe you're a rock climber. Maybe you're the person who just likes to go to the occasional yoga workout in person or going to Orange Theory Fitness. Whatever you do and whatever it means to honor your health is unique to you. And this really abuses the tactic that marketers sometimes use, that you are missing out in life, or your life is going to be less complete if you don't have this product. That's a normal part of marketing in a weird, strange way, but it can be overused and it can be abused to the point of being really harmful for people. So just want to point it out that there's no one product that's absolutely going to transform your life. It's small marbles that go into a jar to make a big jar of marbles. I don't remember what analogy that was. It's like dropping marbles into a jar. One marble is not going to make a huge difference, but the more marbles that you put in that jar, soon it's going to be a full jar, and it's going to make a difference. It's going to look like a different jar of marbles. I am messing up this analogy so bad. You guys get what I'm saying. Sign number 4 of bad nutrition information is that it evokes shame and or guilt when you don't follow the rules. This holds true for a lot of different diets out there. A lot of diets have these really rigid rules and these really rigid guidelines that you have to follow, or else it kind of leads to shame and guilt. And it's unfortunate that health has kind of leaned in this direction, because health doesn't have to be an all or nothing black and white type of thing. Health can look different to everyone, like I said in one of my past tips here. So just keep that in mind, that if there's this really black and white way of thinking about nutrition or health or fitness or anything like that, that is probably a sign of bad nutrition information. Get your information from a registered dietitian, and at least from what I have seen in my experience, a lot of my friends, coworkers, and the people that I have come to know as dietitian entrepreneurs as well are very flexible in their viewpoint of nutrition. And if they're not, then they're probably not the right professional for you. And the last tip, tip number 5 of how to spot bad nutrition information, is that they can't come up with legitimate and unbiased scientific studies or sources of the information that they're telling you. So I would love to just go up to every person who promotes stuff like keto and intermittent fasting and show me the research. Now, that's not to say there's zero research on either of those things or any of the fad diets out there. There probably is. The thing that I want to know is it unbiased? And also, are you familiar with scientific studies and how to interpret scientific literature? If not, then you probably shouldn't be drawing conclusions from a scientific study. You should leave it to someone who knows how to interpret the research. Now, if you brought a piece of literature to me and it was a scientific study, I would be able to look through it because of my grad school research and because of just learning all this stuff in grad school, how to interpret the literature and be able to tell you if it's a meaningful body of research. Meaning, was it like a double-blind placebo? Was it a study with only 6 participants? Or was it a study of 100 or 200 or 300 participants? That all plays into how important or highly regarded the research is. And even then, you have to look at research as just one single study. One single study doesn't change everything that we do, but like I would do as a dietitian, as a nutrition professional, is take one bit of research and use what I already know to develop my thoughts around it. So it's really important not to have a black and white perspective of nutrition studies because they are also flawed. A lot of times they can be studies with a bias. So for example, there can be a study on the benefits of kale, and it could be sponsored by the National Institute of Kale. Now, that is all made up stuff. There's nothing wrong with kale, and I don't think there's a National Institute of Kale anywhere. That would be weird or cool. I can't tell which. But long story short, I'm not telling you that you have to do your own research, because if you don't know how to interpret the research, then it may be really just hard and kind of pointless. And trust me, research studies are very boring to read. It can be hard to get like concise information from it. So my idea for you is to bring it to someone that you trust, like a dietitian or your doctor, and have them kind of give their 2 cents on it. That's my 2 cents, and also just advice on not overemphasizing too much on one body of research, really using your brain and not being black and white about what you read. And an article, by the way, on the internet is not a scientific body of research, to add clarity to that. So if you enjoyed this video today, definitely check out my video on my reaction to strategies for binge eating. I think you'll really enjoy that video too. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you'd like to see more videos from me. Hit the notification bell so you can get notified every single time that I upload. I upload on Tuesdays. Check the links below to see my favorite products, my ebook, my work with me link, all the fun stuff down below. And thanks so much for joining me today and hanging out on the channel. I'll see you in the next video. Bye guys.